Hackers practice.
딕테이션 연습.
1.
You should stop by the circulation desk opposite the media room. You should stop by the circulation desk opposite the media room.
2.
Displays of the human skeletal system are set up round the second corner. Displays of the human skeletal system are set up round the second corner.
3.
Pull the lever below the button. Pull the lever below the button.
4.
On the far right side of the canvas are red highlights in his hair. On the far right side of the canvas are red highlights in his hair.
5.
The theatre is now situated at the junction of Cedar and Thayer Streets. The theatre is now situated at the junction of Cedar and Thayer Streets.
6.
You'll find the tourist information office at the third door before the mall entrance. You'll find the tourist information office at the third door before the mall entrance.
7.
Turn right into the main corridor for the exit and left for the cloakroom. Turn right into the main corridor for the exit and left for the cloakroom.
8.
At the northern end of the park, there is a circular stage area with seating on all sides. At the northern end of the park, there is a circular stage area with seating on all sides.
9.
The botanical garden is between the east and west paths. The botanical garden is between the east and west paths.
10.
Our park's fastest roller coaster is immediately to your left. Our park's fastest roller coaster is immediately to your left.
11.
The restrooms are just on your right, beside the kitchen. The restrooms are just on your right, beside the kitchen.
12.
To the north is a top tourist attraction, Wintergreen River. To the north is a top tourist attraction, Wintergreen River.
13.
It's adjacent to the gift shop in the lobby's southeastern corner. It's adjacent to the gift shop in the lobby's southeastern corner.
14.
The main stage is directly to the north of the food stalls, whilst the ticket office is further east. The main stage is directly to the north of the food stalls, whilst the ticket office is further east.
15.
The statue of the famous writer is on the corner of the Strand and Duncannon Street. The statue of the famous writer is on the corner of the Strand and Duncannon Street.
16.
The rectangular-shaped fountain is in the northeastern corner of the park, opposite the children's playground. The rectangular-shaped fountain is in the northeastern corner of the park, opposite the children's playground.
유형 연습.
Section 2. You will hear a tour guide speaking to a group of visitors about an amusement park. First, you have some time to read through questions 1 to 4. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4.
I'm glad you could all join us today at Fun Fortress Theme Park. As you may have already heard, this facility recently reopened after undergoing big improvements. So, first, I'll begin by explaining what visitors can do here. We are at the main gate at the moment, and there is a route you can follow from here to ensure you see most things in the park. After you enter the main gate, you will immediately see the public market on the right side of the road, where we sell a variety of souvenirs, snacks, and beverages. Directly across the street from that is our spacious main stage. On the main stage, you can watch reenactments of battles with knights, performances by medieval musicians, or comedy shows. And if you follow the side path to the west, you will see Bouncy Castle at the end on your right. Now, if you're headed north from the main gate on the main route and take the second left, you'll come to our large rides area. This is where our most popular ride, the Dungeon Discovery Ride, and our newest ride, Castle Tower, can be found. The Dungeon Discovery Ride is the first one you see on the left as you enter the rides area. But Castle Tower is located in the far northwest corner, so you'll have to walk a bit more in that direction to find it. We also have a miniature village in the park. To get there, starting from the main entrance, take the same route north toward the rides area. Go past the turning to the forest pathway, and you will reach another path that turns to the right. Take that path, and it will bend to the left and come to the entrance of the miniature village, located between the pathway and Queen's Pond. It includes a complete town and a range of famous landmarks and structures, all miniaturized, of course. Now, if you're interested in watching a show or a movie, you can go to the park's Fun Fortress 3D Theater. To get there, you head north on the main route. Take the first right and head up the forest pathway. You'll eventually come to a small bridge that crosses the stream, and on the other side is the theater. We have a wide selection of new releases and kids' classics, most of which are in 3D. All right, those who would like to follow the route can come with me, and we will start at...
You now have 15 seconds to check your answers.
Section 2. You will hear a tour guide explaining the attractions of a wildlife park to visitors. First, you have some time to read through questions 5 to 7. Now listen carefully and answer questions 5 to 7.
Before we begin, I'll give you a short explanation of our itinerary this morning. Please look at the park map on the wall and you'll see that we are now at the main entrance. As we enter the park, we will follow the footpath which will lead us to all of Hemsworth Park's major attractions. At each attraction, we will view the animals in our care, and I'll offer you short explanations on some of the wildlife we have. First, you'll see Big Cat Country on the right-hand side, which is where we house a selection of wild cats, including cougars, cheetahs and panthers. Then, on the opposite side of the footpath from Big Cat Country is Bear Mountain. We currently have black, brown and grizzly bears at this attraction. From there, walking east on the footpath, we will arrive at the African Zone, which is our smallest animal attraction. You'll be able to get up close to giraffes, zebras and gazelles at this location. At this point, the footpath splits into two directions. We will take the northern route and head to the primate zone, where you can observe chimps, monkeys and baboons. After that, we will return to the split in the footpath and take the southern route. On the right-hand side is the park's elephant zone. We currently have 3 of them in our care, and you can check out the audio-visual displays of them as well. Once we have finished there, you'll have some free time to explore for yourself. Now, over on the east side of the park, you can see this circular shape, which is our large pond, and to its left is a small forest. There are lots of walking trails in this area that you can explore, and these 2 triangular shapes here are the park's bird garden. There are 2 connected enclosures that contain a variety of tropical birds, and it is also next to the park's exit, so it might be a good idea to make that your final destination. Naturally, you are also free to go back and explore all the other areas of the park following the tour.
You now have 15 seconds to check your answers.
Section 2. You will hear a hotel clerk give a talk to some new employees about the hotel facilities. First, you have some time to read through questions 8 to 11. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 8 to 11.
Hello there. Nice to meet you both. My name is William, and I'll be doing your training here at the Castle Hill Hotel for the next few days. Anyway, first I'll tell you a bit about the building and facilities, and then we'll meet some of the other staff working here. So, the hotel was constructed a century ago, but has been through numerous renovations. We're outside the main entrance now, and if you go in, you'll see the reception desk. Behind that, on the left side of the lobby, you'll see the lifts which lead up to our other 5 floors. Right next to that is Ms. Loblaw's office. She's the hotel manager, and if you ever need to speak with her, just go to reception to see if she is free. Now, if you turn right at the reception desk, there is a short corridor. If you go down the corridor, the entrance on the left leads to the hotel's restaurant. Inside, you'll see a stairway that leads up to the kitchen facilities. The restaurant is where you can eat your complimentary buffet breakfast. The hotel also has a hotel porter's office, which is the first door on the left-hand side of the main entrance. Also, you'll see a second doorway once you're in the porter's office that leads to the baggage storage area. Guests arriving early or leaving late can store their belongings there for short periods. One new addition to our hotel has been the event room. If you just turn right from the reception desk, it's the first door on the right before you head down the corridor. It is opposite the lounge. We hold special events or meals for guests there, and that's where we also have staff meetings, readings or book club gatherings. Now, if you follow me, we will first head to
You now have 15 seconds to check your answers.
Section 2. You will hear a telephone conversation between a hotel receptionist and a guest about laundry facilities. First, you have some time to read through questions 12 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 12 to 14.
You've reached the Ruby Hotel front desk. This is Camille speaking. How may I assist you this evening?
Hello. I'm staying in room 310, but I'm making this call from the laundry room at the moment. I've been attempting to run the washing machine, but I can't seem to figure out how to operate it correctly. I just put the coins into the rectangular slot on the left side panel and pressed the start button below it, but nothing happened after that. Can you tell me what I might have done wrong?
Well, first of all, have you checked if the power cord is plugged in? It should be right behind the machine. If it's plugged in, you should also be able to see the power light. There are two lights in the top right corner next to the door. The bigger one is the power light. Assuming the power is on, the next thing to check are the two rectangular buttons on the right panel. Those are for selecting water temperature and washing time before beginning the cycle. To start the machine, you have to choose the temperature by pressing the smaller one to the right, and then select the time with the left-hand button.
I've already checked all of that, but it's still not working. So what should I do?
There isn't a red light in the top right corner next to the door, is there? That's the smaller light below the power light. If that light is red, it means the door has not been secured. It has to be green. If it's not, then the machine won't run regardless of other inputs you may have made. You'll need to open and close the door again. Once you've done that, you should press the button right underneath the temperature and time controls on the top right panel. This will lock the door. Oh, and you won't need to put money into the machine again, by the way, if you were fretting about that.
Right, that light is red, so that's what was causing the problem. Thanks. And just one other quick question. Do you have a change machine anywhere? I need some for the dryer.
We don't, but we can certainly change money for you here at the desk.
Great. I'll be up in a few minutes for that then. Thank you for your help.
You now have 15 seconds to check your answers.
Hackers test.
Section 2. You will hear a tour guide describing the features of the Trentham estate to visitors. First, you have some time to read through questions 1 to 6. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Good morning. I'm pleased to welcome you all to the Trentham estate. Although much of the estate was destroyed in the early 20th century, the government was able to recover some areas of the structure, which we will be viewing today. However, before we get started, there are a few precautions I must make you aware of. First of all, we'd be grateful if you could not go into any areas like the gallery that are blocked off with red ropes. These act as barriers to restricted spaces that have not yet been fully restored and are unsafe for visitors to walk through. Secondly, here in Trentham Hall, I caution you to refrain from touching any of the building remains. These are historical artifacts that need to be preserved, and touching these pieces can cause damage to them. And I can see that we have some children with us today, so I'd like to ask you kids to watch your step as we proceed up the clock tower stairway later. The stairs are made of large stones, which are very uneven, so it's quite easy to trip and fall in the stairwell. Just make sure to hold on to the wooden railings as you go up and down. Now, I'll take a moment to describe some details about the history of the Trentham estate to you all. The building originally served as a home for the royal family, and there are signs that it also had a church on the grounds at that time. It was then briefly used as a monastery for priests. After that, it was sold to wealthy businessman James Levison in 1540. It stayed largely the same for several hundred years before several important additions were made by 18th century architect Charles Barry. Mr. Barry was very interested in the design of English country houses like this one. He was the designer of the clock tower, which was called the riding school, not to mention the entire right wing of the estate. This included a massive greenhouse, which is unfortunately no longer here. Sadly, despite all of the additions made to the estate over the years, it was destroyed by its owner in 1912 due to pollution from the River Trentham, which is next to the estate's grounds. There were attempts to sell the estate to the government, but they didn't succeed. It was a great shame because the building was very well constructed. So all that remains of the structure now are just shadows of what it once was. In particular, the gardens, which you can wander around later this morning, were once the site of the building's ballroom.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you can read through questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Actually, I think I'll explain the layout of the gardens right now. Seeing as we can peek at them just outside this window here, they're rather beautiful, aren't they? The gardens are spread over 1 square kilometre of land and surrounded by a densely wooded forest. If everyone could take a look at the map, it will show you how to get around. As you can see, it includes the river and the car park as well as the gardens. In the middle of the grounds there is a magnificent fountain just off the east path, along which you can also see some exotic Ethiopian roses growing. These flowers were imported by the Duke of Sutherland, who resided in the estate in the late 19th century. Also of special note on the other side of the east path is a small circular path that goes around the fish pond. This is just below the car park on the map. A Victorian-style bridge spans over this pond, making it an ideal spot to take a beautiful picture with the Trentham estate in the background. You can even see what remains of some estate buildings on the opposite side of the river from that viewpoint. Across the path from the roses is the clock tower, and if you head east from the tower, you will find a maze, which is great fun for all the family. The entrance is on the southern side of the maze facing the River Trentham. And for those of you who enjoy viewing wild animals up close, you should definitely check out the Trentham Monkey Forest before heading back home today. It is just beyond the car park, on the other side of the gardens from the clock tower, and that's where you can purchase admission tickets. Okay, if there are no questions at this time, let's begin our tour.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.